The Bitcoin hash ribbons just printed a buy signal. Is this what we are waiting for? Are we going to the moon? Hello Adrian, and welcome back to another episode of the Dang Oracle. It is 7:30 p.m. and my time zone is UTC +8. Welcome everybody who is watching around the world on this beautiful Sunday evening. We are planning, we are getting ready. We are, tomorrow is the first day of the week. The fight week is upcoming right now. So let's be very prepared, because a lot of interesting things actually, not with the price action, happened today, but on the macro scale of things, more interesting things are happening right now. And yeah, let's go over things. Since pretty much the price is pretty much very stable during the weekend. It has been like that for the past couple of months now, where during the weekend we don't really see that much of an action. But like I said, I always use the weekend to be educating myself and preparing myself, creating that master plan, that war plan for the upcoming week. So preparation is definitely as important as execution as well. So we will be going over that. But first, let's me welcome and say hello to the hardcore crew who are with me pretty much every night now, right? Hi Lexman, hi Alvin, hi Gita, hi Darren, hi Monkol, hi Lex. Good evening and welcome once again. So before other people are slowly trickling in, let's take a look at some COVID numbers, shall we? And where is my overview? I always keep clicking on the wrong tabs. So let's see. Let's refresh this one. Hi Carl, welcome. So we are at wow, over 3 million cases, 3.245 million cases in the US, close to 2 million cases right now in Brazil. That definitely doesn't look good, or that doesn't sound good as well. India, we are at nearing the 1 million right now, and Russia as well. So yeah, that doesn't seem too very good. Let's take a look on the chart, how that looks like. And on the chart, we have right now, close to 13 million confirmed cases. And right now, as you can see, the even now in other countries, I mean, the chart, the line is going up. It's not even flattening right now. So that means that other countries are not doing that great as well, aside from the top 6 that has been pretty bad. Pretty bad. That's being positive, to be honest. Yeah, not good, guys, not good. I think a lot of the governments will have to be a little bit more serious about this situation, or we have to find a cure or a vaccine very soon, so things can be cleared up very quickly as well. Because this seems like we are going to be having a second wave for sure, or a second problematic event for sure. Is that going to be what's going to be triggering another breakdown in the market? Who knows, right? Who knows? I don't think that we will have that major crash that everybody is like looking at, but I do think, of course, a pullback is pretty normal. Hi Henry, hope you're doing well. Welcome also. So let's go with the most important thing of today, and that is, of course, finally, we have been waiting for it for so long, and for the Moon Boys, this is it. This is what everybody is waiting for. The hash ribbons printed today, a buy signal. Okay, guys, we are going to the moon. This is it. This is what everybody is waiting for. Well, not that quickly. Not so quickly. So let's go a little bit more elaborate about this indicator, right? Of course, the hash ribbons have been pretty much a 100% effective rate. 100% effective rate, as in whenever we got a buy signal, usually in the macro scale of things, price went up in a very positive way. Okay, so in that case, it has always been correct, right? And it kind of makes sense, right? Because when miners are doing better, the market usually does better. Because if the miners are dumping, well, creating less or pushing less Bitcoin onto the market, of course, there's less supply. And if demand is at the same rate as the current at the current stage, then it will be doing better, right? So I have no idea, Jacob. That's a good question. Why is the gap between the crossing and the signal so big? I don't know. But yeah, I've been waiting for this moment for a really long time, and I was like, when are we finally gonna get this buy signal? Because everything seemed to be very blue, right? Everything seems to be very, very good. So that's a good question. I have no idea. We will have to ask the inventor or the creator of this hash ribbons. Maybe he will be answering. He will be able to answer that question. Maybe we should send him a PM or send him some tweets to him and ask him about it. Why there is such a big gap between the signal and the crossing? But well, that's not really what I wanted to be talking about. Well, a little bit, but let's backtest things and let's just take a look on what happened before whenever we got that buy signal, right? So we got that buy signal here on the 25th of April. So let's take a look on what happened during that moment on the 25th of April here. That it was exactly here. So and then the 25th of April, we got the signal at around 7.5K. And then of course we did made a major push up towards the upside to our 10.5K. So that buy signal at that point in time was very valid and was pretty good. Wasn't the best, obviously, wasn't at the bottom or anything like that, but it's a valid signal, right? Let's go back, and we got another buy signal here, which is on the 27th of December. So let's take a look on the price on the 27th of December. It is here. The price was 7.2K, and as you can see, we did make a major pump towards the upside, close to 10.5K once again. But the only thing that I wanted to point out is we did have a little dump first. So on the 27th of December, as you can see here, this from this point here to this point here, we did dump around, it's a little bit less, around 5.8%, right? Okay, so around 5.8%. So even though we got the buy signal, we did make a little dump first before we actually went into a pretty strong rise of the price. Okay, so that was on the 27th of December. Let's go back one more time. Go back. Where did we get another buy signal? That was exactly here. So we got a buy signal here on the 11th of January. On the 11th of January. So let's take a look. On the 11th January, what was the price there? Here on the 11th of January, it was here on this price here. It was 3,700. I remember that one very, very clearly, to be honest, because I actually bought Bitcoin at that point for at around 3.5K, because at that point my other indicator, my Metcalf indicator, was telling me to be buying Bitcoin, and yeah, I bought around the 3.5K at that time. So that's why it's locked in my brain because I don't really buy that often for my holding wallet, of course, right? Because those signals are like once a year or something like that. Anyways, so the 27th of December, it was right here. We can clearly see that even though we got the signal from like around 3.8K, price actually did go down a little bit more here first to around minus 12.65%. 12.65%. It did drop down a little bit more, right? So all I'm saying is whenever we get that buy signal on the hash ribbons, it is a very valid signal as in terms of the macro trend, because after that little dump towards the downside, we did, of course, went into a very high pump towards the upside, right? So would I let's take a look at those two percentages, right? So we have 12.65 and we have 5.83. So let's take a look if we make that dump towards the downside, if that makes some sense or not, right? So a 5.83% from this price spot, from this spot here, let's go down 5.83%. We would be dropping exactly at the the 8.6K area. Is that a possibility? It looks like a very possibility, right? Like, so all I'm saying is that buy signal is what the moon boys are looking at, but we also have to be looking at, you know, different type of scenarios, and it does not mean that you should be, you know, immediately jumping into buying Bitcoin right away, right? So that's a very, very probable situation, but I do believe that having that buy signal is long term a very positive thing, right? But like I said, it doesn't mean that we can have a small pullback before we get into that actual pump towards the upside. So 8.5, 8.6K is one of the territories that we have been talking and discussing about for the past couple of months, week, right? Not right now, right? So the other probability was, what was it? Around 12.65%. So let's map that one out. 12.65% from this price here. So from around here, 12.65% down, that would give us around this price here, that is around 8.1K. And 8.1K is, once again, a very, very, very possible number, because, well, like I said, this is the green box that I am expecting at pretty much the minimum, but the next box is around here, right? Around the 8.1K, which is something that I've talked about as well. But the only thing that I'm just thinking is, if we do get towards that 8.1K, most likely it will go all the way towards the 7.5K, just because of the Fibonacci level. But I mean, that's just something that I'm thinking about, right? So although, like I said, although this hash ribbons, let's go back into our hash ribbon. Although this hash ribbons indicator has never been wrong in terms of a macro trend move. It has never been wrong. So we should, you know, take that as a very positive signal. But on the other hand, like I said, I am a day trader, so will I immediately rush into things and immediately jump into buying Bitcoin right away because there is a buy signal on the hash ribbons? No, because it has proven before already that it is very possible that we still get a small dump towards the downside before we go up. And for me, of course, if it dumps down to like $8,100, that's quite a substantial dump towards the downside. Or if it, for example, goes a little bit stronger towards the downside to 7.5K, that's a substantial dump. So, but on the other hand, what does make me feel positive is, of course, with that buy signal, most likely, well, if the indicator is not wrong, because I've explained that before, there's no indicator that has a 100% correct rate. You must always, you know, expect the unexpected, to be honest. So does it have a very good hit rate or a correctness rate? Yes. Can it be wrong? Of course it can be wrong as well, right? So just try to put all of those things a little bit in you know, in the back of your mind before you know, going moon boy and FOMO and anything like that. So that's the only thing that I wanted to point out in terms of that indicator. Now, since it is Sunday, I like to rant on Sundays because I do have, of course, my own opinion, and I do have a lot of things that I'm looking at and things that make sense and that are positive. For example, that hash ribbons, that makes me very positive, right? That makes me in the macro trend. Okay, let's say we go to 8.6K and we pump up from there. That's very positive, right? Like it's very positive. It would mean on the weekly, this is very, very positive, right? It would mean that we would, like I said, we would be creating some sort of a bull flag right now here, like this. We go down and we hit the EMA 21, which is around 8.6K, and then we break out of that trend of that super strong resistance line that has been governing Bitcoin for the past 2 years, the bear market the bear market resistance, and that would be very positive, right? It would be very positive. But even if we go a little bit lower, let's say we go a little bit lower, we go to the EMA EMA 55, right? which is around the 8.2k, a little bit lower, and then we break up. It's not, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I do believe that if we do get near to that zones, we do most likely go towards the EMA 100, which is around the 7.5k line, and go up. So I don't really believe in this middle path. It's more likely either this path, the first path, or the last path, in my personal opinion. But both scenarios, to be honest, and in macro is very bullish and is very positive. The only less positive is if we would be breaking the 7.5k. If we would be breaking that, then things will look very, very bad, very well, on a more long-term movement or trend, right? So that's basically what I'm saying. But on the other hand, there's a couple of things that is troubling me, right? There's a couple of things that are troubling me. So we have been seeing a very high correlation in terms of a macro trend between the traditional stock market and Bitcoin, which is at this point in time a very positive thing, because as you know, well, if you don't know, the traditional markets are in a super bull runs, very similar to like Bitcoin in 2017. If you are not aware, it has been really crazy. Take a look at this. It started, of course, from the crash here towards the downside, and then as you can see here, this is what has been going on Nasdaq, right? So this reminds me basically at the times of in 2017, and retail and people who have been trading stock market for the past couple of months have been having the best time of their life. That's basically what is happening right now. As you can see, it just has been buying the dip and buying the dip and buying the dip and buying the dip, right? But very similar to Bitcoin. At one point, it will hit that that the parabolic run can never be sustained, right? So of course, right now everything is still hyped, and it can easily still go on for and maybe even a month or something like that. It's very possible. Who knows, right? Who knows? We are right now in all-time highs once again on Nasdaq, and like I said, once we are in price discovery mode, it's very tough to be knowing when it will be ending. The only time when we'll know that it will actually be ending is when we are going to be breaking one of those big structural breaks towards the downside. And the first indicator is, of course, the EMA 21 on the weekly. Once we start closing candles below that EMA 21, then the party is over. That's basically when we will have a serious pullback. So that's the only time really that we would be knowing that things are starting to trickle down. But obviously, by looking at the shorter time frames, it will become a more, we can see it quicker, and then it becomes a domino effect and onto the bigger time frames. But that's not really what I wanted to be talking about. The thing that I wanted to be talking about is we can clearly see that stock market, even altcoins, every big altcoin is rallying like crazy. So while everything in the whole world is rallying towards the upside, Bitcoin is not rallying towards the upside right now, and that on a fundamental aspect gives me concern. That's very concerning. So when people are telling me Bitcoin is fundamentally very strong, we have really good on-chain dynamics, blah 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 blah, cool, that is true, right? But the market is at this moment in time telling otherwise, or else it would be rallying. It's just as simple as that. If we are looking at pretty much everything in the whole world, every asset in the whole world, we can talk about gold, we can talk about silver, we can talk about any asset in the world, it has been rallying towards the upside. But why is Bitcoin not rallying towards the upside? It just means that the asset is not as strong as we have thought, and that gives me a little bit of concern in terms of the macro or the very long-term trend. Can it change? Of course it can change, right? I'm not here to to tell you that that Bitcoin is fundamentally horrible or weak, or it doesn't have a future or anything like that. Of course, I believe in the technology. Of course, I believe in the fundamentals. But it's just me as an investor. It gives me some concern when I will be thinking, when I'm thinking like, well, is this something that I want to be investing in for, let's say, 5 years, for 10 years, or something like that? This is one of those signals or red flags, basically, that are telling me like, maybe the asset is not as strong as I expected, right? But like I said, it's just something that just pauses, gives me a little bit of a concern, right? So let's move on into technical analysis in terms of Bitcoin itself, right? So let's go first and update what we were talking about yesterday. Well, yesterday I said, well, we most likely would be swiping a little bit towards the downside, but I don't think it would be breaking any structure. I also said most likely we will just bounce back towards the upside, but I also said that most likely we won't be breaking any structure on the upside as well, because, well, it's weekend, and as you can see, we are just basically moving sideways, right? So this is basically sideways. The only thing that I can say right now is on the 4 hour, we are still holding the EMA 21. And so that means in the short run, very short run, but we still have 7 minutes and a half to go right now. And I want to see if it holds this EMA 21 on the 4 hour, yes or no, for the next candle as well, to be giving more my thoughts about the very short term. But not that it really matters though. But yeah, I just wanted to see if that happens or not. Overall, I do think that we will still have a push towards, the probability is still higher that we will make a push towards the upside a little bit more first than the downside in the very short run. So my plan is pretty much the same as it was yesterday, as it was Friday. I'm still looking for a nice position to be shorting, of course, because like I also explained before, for me, the probability that we are going towards the downside is still higher than going towards the upside, as long as, well, you know already, we don't close any candles above 9,450 basically. So if we see a candle close above 9,450, I will be switching that over into a long, and most likely be aiming somewhere around here, and back to 9.8k, 9.9k is the very likelihood that we are gonna be arriving there. But on the other hand, I just want to tell you guys once again, even if we are going to break back towards that area, on the macro trend, we are still just basically in the middle. As you can see, we are just smack once again in the middle of this this channel that we have been forming for the past 2 months or something like that. So does that make me super bullish immediately? No, it doesn't make me super bullish. If we manage to, of course, make a higher high and break out of this channel, of course that changes everything, right? So once we do create and close some candles back above 9.9k, that will make me way more bullish, of course. But like I said, as a trader, I want to be positioned in the right direction rather than speculating on something that I cannot control, right? I cannot control the market. The market is going to be doing what the market wants to be doing. And basically in terms of like the price action, I want to be using my technical analysis to be positioning myself to be profitable. And that's the only thing that I care about. I don't really care if Bitcoin is going to 11,500 or Bitcoin is going to 8,500, as long as I am positioned correctly in my trade. I'll be happy either way, right? Of course, for the people who are investing in the long run, they are a little bit more sad. But on the other hand, like I said, having the Bitcoin hash ribbons printing a buy signal, I think that gives us a very positive signal for the next coming year or something like that, because every time we get that, it usually is a very bullish signal for the macro trend. But like I said, does that mean that we don't get a pullback? I still believe that we will have a pullback rather than a uptrend. Can I be wrong? Of course I can be wrong, but that's the reason why I want to be very clear on the positions that I am planning, and where we are using our positions and our risk management to be still profitable, and to be able to switch when necessary, right? So 9,450 is obviously the key area here. That will make me switch into a long, yes. That will not completely make me fully bullish just yet, right? I still believe that even if we go back towards that area, we have a lot of resistance back and down from there, right? Yeah, Constant. I know, but I am not, like I said, I just give my own personal opinion. I will never be like that person who is like fully 100% focused, like, yes, this is extremely bullish, this must be going up. Or I'll be like extremely bearish, yes, this is going to zero or something like that, or it's going to $1,000 or something like that. I'm a trader, right? So everything that comes out of my opinion is formed as a trader's perspective, nothing else. I don't have a care in the world if it does go, like you said, and it's extremely bullish and it goes to 15,000, I'll be very happy. Because I'll be making money. But if you're wrong and it goes to, let's say, 8,500, I'll be very happy as well, because I will be making money either way. Yes, Pledit, Tesla has been really good. I mean, I have I bought Tesla at like $450 or something like that. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about my Tesla. I'm still holding the Tesla stock, so I mean, it's not I haven't sold it just yet, but I'm thinking about taking profits. Well, like I said, once the indicators are showing me that it's starting to have some breakdown into a structure, I'll have to be selling, right? I don't care if Tesla make profit or not, Constant. I mean, it's all stocks market is basically speculation on what the future is of the company, not really what the company is worth, right? So that's what that's what makes the value of the stock market. It's basically speculation. But yeah, it's now, I think Tesla is like over 1,500 right now, so can't complain. Already tripled the share, the percentage. That's over a 300% gain. So that's like crazy for we're talking about stocks here. We're not talking about Bitcoin. If it was Bitcoin, everybody would be like, yeah, well, 300%, whatever, you know. But it's stocks. That's really, really crazy. Anyways, yeah. So everything that we basically been talking about is still pretty much the same as the past couple of months, right? Couple of yeah, we've just been moving sideways, right? Sideways, yeah. Yeah, that is correct. It has tripled. Well, not tripled, but went up quite substantially. But the difference is, while the rest of the market is keeps on going up substantially, Bitcoin has topped out, right? We have been basically in a daily downtrend for the past couple of weeks now, and that doesn't show strength in the asset. That's what is a little bit worrisome for me. Anyways, so I've been looking into the COT. And I've made this chart here, the COT and the open interest of Bitcoin, to try to find a more, you know, a method on what is going on and how price is currently moving, right? So I've been talking about the COT, the commitment of traders chart, for quite some time now, and this is basically only the institutional chart. So I removed all the other charts and I've only put the institutional chart because it kind of shows to me that institutions has been for the past couple of years, since they have been entering the market with, of course, opening of back the opening of CME and so on, they have been a very, very strong player on the market, right? So we can clearly see here, whenever they are, you know, purchasing, whenever the line of from the institutions, institutional traders goes up, we can clearly see that the price also goes up as well. Whenever the line of the institutions go down, as you can see here, price basically moves down as well, right? And then we have here, since the crash, we've been talking about that for a really long time already, we can also see that it has been going up and price has been going up. And as you can see here, since basically the 1st of June, they basically sold off a substantial amount of Bitcoin, as you can clearly see, and it has been slowly going down right now. And right now, price has been slowly going down, but mainly it has been held up for two reasons, of course, because the retail has been purchasing, as well as the professional traders have been quite bullish on Bitcoin as well, right? So the whole question is, of course, are they going to be switching? So I think this one is going to be showing a lot, because if I do believe that if we see continuation of the institutional money going down, I do believe that we will have rather a downtrend of Bitcoin rather than an uptrend, because as you can see, if we are following what the institutions are doing, it greatly affects the price of Bitcoin. It's, you know, you can clearly see it on the chart as well. Another thing that I've been monitoring is, of course, the open interest of the international the institutional traders. And if you are looking here, very similar to the ADX, whenever the open interest is extremely low, we are having accumulation or distribution, basically, because people are not interested in buying or selling Bitcoin, right? So we can clearly see here we had a very long period here of basically accumulation. As you can see, that's why price went sideways for a really long time, and then we had a positive momentum in the COT, and then price went up, which is showing that this was accumulation, right? Very similar here, we had a lot of accumulation on this point here, between this zone here, and we can clearly see we went into this mode here, and then still the line went downwards, and that's why the price went downwards as well. But then we had more distribution here, more sideways, and then still it went downwards here. Price did go up a little bit, but eventually it crashed back down here as well. And right now we are actually seeing pretty much this very similar thing, right? We have here this period here where we are having a very strong sideways movement, and the question is, of course, once again, is this accumulation or distribution? And the problem is, what I'm seeing right now is a downtrend once again of the institutional charts, and that usually, as we can see before, usually is not a positive signal of for the market, right? So once again, that's that gives me a bias that we still have a little bit of a pullback before anything else, right? So once again, just something that you should be aware of, or something that you can keep in the back of the mind. But like I also said, I'm not like super bearish or anything like that, where I'm saying like, we're gonna be pulling back like crazy. But is a pullback towards like 7.5k, like I said, is that super bad? I don't think that's super bad. I really don't think that is that's a really bad thing. So yeah, I keep my mind around that area, and I still think that a pullback is more likely than not. But like I said, as a trader, you should, I just want to be positioning myself properly toward in the right direction rather than anything else. Haven Protocol. Another shit coin. Yes, I hope it's gonna do a huge run, CT, but yeah, I'm not really interested in any altcoin. Um, I'm more concerned about, and besides, if Bitcoin is going to make a crash, I doubt it that any altcoin is going to be doing very well as well, right? But for now, of course, altcoins are doing really well because people who are not trading who are trading Bitcoins are just basically bored out of their minds, right? They're basically bored out of their mind, and it's going sideways all the time. Anyways, so we now have a our candle close. Our candle close of our 4 hour, and we did close. Did we close? Yeah, we did close. Did we close below it? I think so. I think we did close below the EMA. Yeah, very barely, very barely. We did close below the EMA 21, but it's very very small. The only couple of things that we can clearly see is, of course, the 200 simple moving average is curling towards the downside, and yeah, it's forcing things to be going towards the downside. Let's take a look if we can see some formation here. Yeah, we can. I mean, it's a little bit reached maybe, but we can see some sort of like a flag formation as well here. Let's take a look. So we can see something like this is being formed right now. Yeah. So yeah. This can easily break down, but it can still move up a little bit as well, right? So let's be positive, and we can move up here, somewhere here towards the top side of this line. It's like a ascending broadening wedge type of thing that is possible being formed here. So what is my personal plan? Well, my personal plan is to be shorting around these areas here on the top of the range. Do I think that we will be breaking the 9,400? I think at this point it's very unlikely. I think around 9,350 is still possible, something like that. 9,350, 9,380. Those are the type of entries that would be interesting. Let's put it like that. So that's kind of the range that I would be hoping to be reaching for. But yeah, tomorrow we'll be seeing how the weekly candles are going to be closing, and how things are going to be running. But for now, I'm still angling for, yeah, it did close below, but I'm still angling for a little bit to the upside. Let's take a look for the expected move charts. The first standard deviation to the upside is 9,345. So and then the first standard deviation to the downside is 9,171. So yeah, that's pretty much the range that I'm looking for. 9,350 would be a pretty nice. Yes, I hope so, Jason. I really hope so. It's looking. I mean, like I said, I think we have all the chance and opportunity in the world right now to be breaking up with the traditional markets. Everything in the whole world is pushing towards the upside. But like I said, Bitcoin is not showing the same strength, and that's quite worrisome for me. It's quite worrisome. EMA is not. I mean, RSI is not really telling us that much on the daily. Let's take a look on the daily. Stokes are, that's also a little bit problematic. The Stokes are already starting to, on the daily, a little bit curling a little bit towards the downside. Oh yeah, I didn't see the Stokes for the 12 hour. 12 hour are now broken back down below that previous support resistance line. Now, yeah, now it's no longer support, so that's not a very good sign as well. Let's take a look on the 4 hour. The 4 hour is curling, making a V, but like you can see, it's nearing that it's nearing that rejection, possible rejection resistance line once again. So yeah, most likely I still think in the short term push up towards the upside, but I think it's a good position for me for for a short rather than a long. But on the other hand, the higher we get, the easier it will be for in terms of risk management, because
if I do see that we get a close above, a candle close below above 9450, then that's pretty bullish, and most likely we'll be going. I'll be switching it over into a long. Another trigger would be this 9500 area. No need for a candle close. If we just wick above that previous 9400, what is it, 9492.5 area, that also means most likely it will be triggering us a move towards this 9.7 9.8k area. So those are the two triggers that will give for me to switch into a long. Other than that, yeah, the more we are hanging around on the downside of the support trend line, of course my bias will be more towards the downside rather than the upside, right? I think that's basically, I mean, that's pretty logical, but I think it's a very easy risk management position, because yeah, I mean, the amount of money that you're risking, or the rewards are very strong at this point right now. So I think as a trade, in the trader's perspective, it makes a lot of sense, right? Let's take a look on some other indicators that might be interesting. And as you can see right now, the Ichimoku Cloud, as you can see, the blue line is still below the yellow line, but that's not really the most important thing. The most important thing is that we could be breaking down and out of this Ichimoku Cloud in the next 2 days, basically, as you can see here, 13th of July, 14th of July. So if we do break out of this cloud and the blue line is below the yellow line, that is actually a very bearish sign, right? We've spoken about that as well already. If we get a crossover towards the downside and we are below the Ichimoku Cloud, that's a very negative thing. Taking a look at our ADX is of course super low right now, so the trend is definitely not there. But of course, in the next couple of days, if this white line spikes up and the red line is still diverging away from the green line, like this, something like this, that is of course a very bearish sign as well. A very bullish sign would be that this green line would be curling up and this red line keeps curling down, and we get a bullish crossover where the green line is coming up, plus this ADX moves towards the upside. That would be very bullish. So that would give you the signal basically to switch over into a long. So those are the two things that, yeah, you definitely have to be paying attention to. Will Bitcoin reach this year's all-time high? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Probability is very low. I don't think it will. But crazier things have happened. But like I said, just looking at the whole market right now and seeing that Bitcoin is not doing the same thing, the crazy pumps, the crazy things as the rest of the market, it's not a positive sign. It's really not a positive sign for an asset, right? Another thing that I wanted to point out is the bearish hidden divergence that we are seeing actually up until, not on the daily, up until the 12-hour chart. So I can show it to you here. So we made a lower low on the price, as you can see here. Of course, that's very clear. We don't even have to put the line there. 1 second. I always here. So from this point here to this point here, we have a lower high, right? Second. I'll remove this one. A lower high, and then on the RSI we will make a higher high. Can see here. So from this point here, we can see here from this point to this point there, we have a higher high. That's bearish, hidden bearish divergence. If we are going to our cheat sheet, you can see it here. So the price made a lower high on the price and a higher high here on the RSI. So we have confirmed, this is confirmed already, because the price did make a lower low here in comparison with the previous weekly candle. So that's confirmed hidden bearish divergence as well. And as you know, hidden bearish divergence means continuation of the trend towards the downside rather than the upside. So that also gives me more and more inclination that most likely we will have a continuation and a pullback towards the downside. For me, it's just more like, okay, well, Are we pulling back to just 8.6K and then break out and go to the moon after? Possible. Are we going to 8.1 and then go to the moon after? Possible as well, right? So, but I am more, like I said, and I've said that for for way too long now. I don't want to that it starts to be sounding pretty silly. But yeah, my opinion or my bias is still the same. I still believe that the chart is not looking good for a immediate push towards the upside. I still think that we will have a pullback, but I do believe that the pullback is a buying opportunity. So that's the difference between before. So before, when I would be looking at everything, I would be saying like, well, maybe I'll be waiting a little bit longer before I would be buying and holding in a macro trend. But right now it looks really good in a macro trend. But we'll see how long this pullback is. Have you looked out to 1 week or 1 month this morning to see a long term? Yeah, I have. So if we are looking on the weekly, right? So what would make me bullish? Well, if we would be closing above 9.3K, that would make me bullish for tomorrow for the weekly close. Above 9.3K, that would be really good, right? So we haven't discussed that just yet because we had a doji candle right here. Closing below 8.9K is obviously not good for the weekly close. And right now we are actually, closer towards the 9.3 than to the 8.9, right? So that's one of the things that I'm looking for. Let's see what the weekly close is going to bring tomorrow. The only thing, and yeah, this Stokes, like I said, we've never had a bull run when the weekly Stokes are curling towards the downside. It has never happened before, and I wouldn't bet against that either. And it just shows that the momentum is not there, or we don't have enough volume to be breaking up into the into the all-time highs, as in breaking a macro structure. So like I said, even if we go back to like 9.8K or 9.7K or something like that, it doesn't break the macro structure. What I mean is with the macro structure is when we are going to break 10K or something like that, where we have potential to be going towards like 14K, 11.5K, 14K, that type of structure. And yeah, with the Stokes like this, I don't see it happening, right? I don't see it happening. This is what keeps me bullish, right? We bounced off perfectly on the EMA, on the weekly RSI, and we have a potential, once again, chance to be breaking out of this resistance line that we have been forming for the past 2 years, right? So that's bullish. That's bullish. But as long as we don't break out of it, it's just another attempt. We have been attempting to break out of this resistance for quite some time now, right? And it has been, but this time we have the biggest opportunity. Like I said, usually what happens is whenever we get to that position, we immediately get rejected and back down. We get up and we get immediately back down. We get up and we get immediately back down. But this time, as you can see, we got up, but it's just hanging there. It's hanging there, right? So that's what makes things very, very interesting, right? Because we're just hanging there. Is this accumulation on the very high resistance line? It's possible. If we are accumulating on this high price level, that would be very bullish. And then we can, like I said, we can talk about 11.5K first, 14K most, 13, 14K most likely after. Very high probability. It would be very bullish, but the market has to be, for me, it has to be, it has to show things first. And right now on the lower time frames and the volume and everything is not showing me the right structure just yet for a real breakout. That's just, but once again, that's just my personal opinion, of course. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, right? So let's see. I still have high doubts, right? But like I said, I would be very happy. I would be insanely happy if we manage to, if we manage to get a real bull run and we go back to crazy times like in 2017. I've been there. It was a party every day, and it was the easiest time of my life to be making money at that time. It was crazy. So I would be super happy if we would get back there. The thing is, yeah, I still have my serious doubts that it will be that easy, and that we will get there as quickly as I'm expecting it is. Right now, we do have a lot of indicators that are showing positive things, but on the other hand, the price action and the volume is not showing the right indications. So, that makes me worry a little bit. Not a little bit. That makes me worry quite a lot, actually. So yeah, I think we've gone over everything that I wanted to say. Let's wrap it up. I still sorry for the Moon Boys. I still feel that we will have a pullback rather than a push towards the upside. In the very short term, I still think that we will have a retest of like the higher end here, like near this top of this resistance line, 9.380, 9.350, something like that. Sure, definitely possible. We will see what happens tomorrow when the CME reopens, but I think I still think that the downside is more probable right now than the upside still. So I'm looking for a short position once again for my day trading position. I'm already in a short position on my swing trade, of course, but I'm still looking for a position right now for my day trading. So areas that are interesting for me is these areas on the top side. If we do get that push towards the upside, if we don't get that push towards the upside, then I am looking for a break of this structure of this structure here towards the downside. So what would confirm things for me is two things: a break of a candle close below this body of these two candles here. That's around the 9K area. So if that would break with the candle confirmation close, then yeah, most likely that will be going towards the downside, right? Another trigger would be just basically wicking below this previous candle here at around 8.9K ish area. That would obviously also trigger things towards the downside as well. Those are the two things that I'm looking for towards the downside. But yeah, we can clearly see that we are very near this apex right now. Very near the apex right now. So one of the two things should happen, right? It's either going to be breaking towards the upside or it's going to be breaking towards the downside. So next week we will have, we will definitely see some conclusion. And if we are, like I said, if we just looked at our cloud, our Ichimoku Cloud, yeah, we have like 1 or 2 days time to be basically breaking towards the upside above the cloud or breaking towards the downside of the cloud. So but of course we have like I said, on the 12 up to the 12th hour, we have hidden bearish divergence. That is not good. We have the weekly Stokes that are curling towards the downside. That is not good as well. So yeah, all of that gives me a more a more higher probability that we are going to be breaking towards the downside rather than the upside for now. But yeah, things can change very quickly, of course, right? Things can change very quickly. But I do believe that tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day. Hopefully it's going to be a very interesting day. Just looking at the volume profile, we can also see that the structure is so mature right now, right? It's so mature right now. So if we are taking a look here all the way, we should get the resolution at the end. It's like 20th of July. So yeah, tomorrow, then yeah, it has to. It really has to be happening next week, to be honest, and in the next couple of days, something like that. So yeah, we'll see a gigantic move most likely, and that's the reason Even if you're not in a position or anything like that, that's the move basically that should be that you should be caring about, either towards the upside or the downside. One of those two things. Make sure that you are positioned and take advantage of that move that is upcoming. That's way more important than anything else, right? So and that should be making the whole your whole month worth of trades, to be honest. If we get that move to like $1,000 towards the downside or $1,000 towards the upside, that should make a large portion of your profits for this month of July. Okay, so yeah, my bias is still the same. It has been the same for a really long time around already. There are some arguments that are bullish, but there are also arguments that are bearish, right? I'm still leaning towards the probability that we are bouncing towards the downside pretty soon first, rather than the upside. But I would not be sad. I would not be sad if we would be going towards the upside as well, right? So I would probably be more happy that we would be going towards the upside as a fan of the crypto market. It's a positive thing. But yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't trade my opinion. I trade technical analysis, and my technical analysis is currently just telling me like, yeah, you gotta find some shorting positions, my friend. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do for later tonight, and that's how I'm going to be structuring or setting things up. Putting on some short positions on the top of the range, and evaluate during the night. Definitely around, like I said, all the big moves or the real positions movements are being made around 2 or 3 hours after the New York stock market opens. So for me, that's around 11:30 to midnight. That's basically the key time, and we will see a lot of more information around that time. And then of course at 6 a.m. when the CME pre-market is going to be opening, we can clearly see if we will have a gap towards the downside or towards the upside. That basically tells us a lot of information as well. And yesterday we've already analyzed the CME weekly candle close. We closed at around 9,275, which is around 9,200 in the spot market price with the premium of a CME. So that gives us the range that we are looking for as well. But like I have also explained, looking at the weekly candle close on the CME chart and the daily candle close, it's not a good weekly close. It shows more. Once again, the CME chart is showing also more continuation towards the downside rather than the upside. So overall, yeah, pretty much the same. Expecting next week 8.5 or 8.6k. That's basically, but I've been saying that for a really long time now, and it has been really slow. It has been from 10.4k. Yeah, it went from 10.4k to 9.2k. Yeah, it's $1,200 towards the downside, and a lot of people don't like it. But it's still at that $1,200 move that we have been slowly grinding towards the downside. But on the other hand, no structure on the downside has been broken as well. Not really, except for a wick during the Saturday during a weekend. So that could be a fake out, So no conclusions just yet. But yeah, still my bias is a pullback towards the downside in short. That's very short. But I would not be unhappy if we pump towards the moon. That would make me a happy panda as well. But I think we will be able to know a lot more tomorrow with the weekly candle close. So yeah, 9.3k. Do we close above 9.3k for the weekly? That would make me that would show a lot of good things for the next coming week. Do we close in the middle, which is most likely what's going to happen between 8.9 and 9.3k? I don't think we're going to have a resolution once again. It's going to be like 9.1k or something like that, the weekly close. But on the other hand, it does show us the strength of on the daily candle, because we will once again be closing below the EMA 55 if that would be the case, and that would show once again more probabilities towards the downside, because once again we are below the moving average once again, right? So anyways, that was a lot. Speak to you guys tomorrow, once again tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. same time, same place, YouTube and Facebook Live. And of course, please like, share, comment, and whatever you want to do with this channel. And we will be going over some things whatever you guys want me to be going over with, and then see you tomorrow. And yeah, until then, please stay